All right, so students, good evening to all of you. Yes, good evening, Yogesh. So this is lecture series number 175, and as you know, every Sunday we are talking about our overseas education and various opportunities, scholarships, courses, universities, so on and so forth. So from the past few weeks, we've started our successful students program. I'm sure those of you who were here yesterday or last Sunday, you would have seen our student Rajat, who gave a really good idea about University of Chicago and how he had navigated the scholarship process. I had received a lot of messages about it, and later on, I'll share you the link. So we are going to upload the recording of that session on our YouTube channel. So, make sure you check it out over there. I'll share the links later. And, apart from that, so students who are planning for fall 2025, it is November now. Many of our students are taking the compulsory language exams like PT, IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, etc. Many of them have started applications also, and in fact, a few of our students who have finished the applications, they have even received offer letters. Okay, so I just have one to share with you right now. So good thing I had this ready. So this is our student. Let me share with you. So you can see this is our student Arth, and he is going to NUS, National University of Singapore, which is number 8 in the QS ranking. Like if you remember, we talked about QS ranking and all the system which is used by the government. So in case you don't know, you can see over here, right, QS ranking. So for 2025, NUS, National University of Singapore, is at number 8. So anyway, he has, brilliant student, great profile. He finished his application. He applied to US as well, UK as well, and he already received an offer letter. Okay, I think he just got this 2 or 3 days ago. MS in Mechanical Engineering, August 2025. Okay, so along with this, so other students are also applying, and I keep telling them that it's so important to apply in the first intake, or in the early admissions timeline, so that you get an offer letter as soon as possible. So those students who are planning for fall 2025, make sure you get in touch. We need to assess your profile and make a short list of courses. Also, of course, any other preparation you need, documentation, so on and so forth. And most importantly, next step is if you are eligible for the scholarship, so what sort of funding you can get. These considerations are there. And like I said, it's November. So ideally, you want to do this as soon as possible, because students, remember, if you don't know, in the middle of December, so the universities will have a Christmas break. Okay, and in that Christmas break, so usually, no work gets done. It's like 15-20 days, university will not be functioning, like fully functioning. So, yeah, those of you who are planning for fall 2025, make sure get in touch, you plan, and we can tell you the next steps. Okay, yes, I can see some questions. Students, I'll answer your questions at the end. I'll share all my details and I will get back to you. Just let us, be done with the main program, and then whatever questions, contact details, everything I'll share with you. So just make sure you stay till the end of the session. Okay, so again, so we will be starting with a new batch also for IELTS next month. So, things are moving quite quickly. You still have some time. Those of you who want to go for fall 2025, make sure you work fast, take the right decision. Okay, so coming back to our program today. So, like I said, last Sunday we had Rajat who was sharing about his experience. So he was also in the arts field. He's went for public policy, University of Chicago, prestigious university. And even before that, so I think one of our very first students, probably, or I think in that batch we had 2, 3 other art students. So Maitrayee had gone to King's College in the year, what was it, 2023? 2023, she had started her program, strategic communications program at King's College. And then now she is done with the program, and she is in London. She is still working, and so she was, definitely, she said she reached out and she wanted to share her experience, 1 year of staying in London, studying in one of the top colleges, what she has gained and whatever advice she has for the future students. On a note, let me share her offer letter also with you. So you can see this. So this was 12/7/23. I remember we had waited quite a while for this offer to arrive. Strategic Communications, MA, King's College London, and unconditional offer, right? Unconditional, that is the keyword that we look for in the offer letters if you are going for scholarship. So she received her unconditional offer. And so the students, we have our ads running on Instagram, Facebook, etc. So we get a lot of inquiries, calls, and students ask us that, so what exactly do you do? Like, do you counsel, or do you help with admission, or you're just going for scholarship, or what it is? So like, Maitrayee will tell you, she was with us right from the beginning for her IELTS preparation, where she again did very well. We helped her with the application also, and then later on with the scholarship process and everything. So it's an all-in-one procedure. So once you come to us, it takes around 10 months, 1 year, year-long program where we prepare students, start to finish. And here they are to later give their feedback and tell the all the other new students, the prospective students, what sort of process they had to go through, and what advice they have for everyone else. Okay, so that being said, let me hand over to Maitrayee. Where is Maitrayee? Can we see her?
Hi, sir. Am I audible?
Oh, hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon to you.
Good evening to you.
Thank you, thank you. So before we just start, let me tell you, students. So Maitrayee is in London, and the time difference is 5.5 hours thanks to daylight saving time. And today is Sunday. So Maitrayee, I know she's working super hard during the week, and very kindly she has come, and she's there to share her experience. So we won't take too much of her time. Maitrayee, please tell
Thank you
us.
so much, sir, for this
Yes.
opportunity. And actually, I would like to correct something that sir has said. I've been with Hemant sir and Nirvet sir for longer than a year and longer than that, actually. So when I was completing my undergrad program, I did my undergrad in English literature at St. Mira's College in Pune. When I was in my final year, I'd already decided this is what I want to do, this is what I want to go for. And somehow, by God's grace, I came across Hemant sir's profile. And scholarship is definitely something that I was looking for. Otherwise, all of this would not have been possible. And right when I was going to do my final exams, I met sir and I approached him, and this is what I want to do, this is what I've been doing. And he said to me, take your time, work for a year, don't apply now. And so I think this is very important. Um, when you choose to study abroad, when you're choosing this career path and charting out, okay, this is what I want to do in my life, and this is what I want my life to be, I think this is where it all begins. It is about understanding where you want to go, what you want to do, and why you want to be there in that given moment. Um, so, because of which, I started working at Hitavada. Um, it's a newspaper in Nagpur, and that was the most incredible year I had till now. I was working as a cultural reporter, did a little bit of crime. It was amazing. Um, I cannot put into words the fun I had, the experience that I had. Um, so I would definitely recommend getting some, you know, work experience before you do your masters. Now I understand that we are all at different levels in our journeys to studying abroad, but I think the keynote here is to figure out what you want to do, what course you're applying for, what are the requirements, how would you like your profile to be, what is the profile that they're looking for. If you want to be accepted in a particular college, they're looking for particular candidates, they're not going to accept everybody. We are talking about top 200 universities in the world. So that means putting in extra effort in creating your profile, which not only increases your employability chances in the future, but it also gives you the experience that you need to study the course that you're going to study. So, when we talk about universities, I think you all know the basics. When do they intake? All the intake months, September and January, when we're talking about UK, and when to start the procedure. I think you've all covered that part. But when we talk about universities and studying abroad, it's going to be a lot more different. In India, we follow a different study pattern, a different education pattern altogether. The professor pays a lot of attention to every individual students and meets the individual requirements of these students. In London, in UK, everywhere abroad, it's a lot different. So this time that you have right now is to prepare yourself for what lies ahead. When I was studying at King's College, I used to have classes 3 days a week. The classes would go from 2 hours to 3 hours, sometimes a lot of interactive sessions with the professors. So you don't have a lot of subjects to study, not with my subject specifically. I had two very specific modules, and then I had another module that I could sort of pick and choose from the entire department. Um, so every course, there was a follow-up session with the professor, which would run about for an hour, where you get to interact with the professor. So there's the entire class where you have the lecture, a 2 hour lecture, and then you have individual sessions with the professors, for which you need to prepare for. The professor uh, is going to run through the lecture, is going to run through the textbooks. It's going to be more of a review of what you have studied and what you have understood from all the readings. You will have reading weeks, you will have time to prepare for the lecture. So studying abroad and studying at such universities is about yourself, is about preparing yourself for what you want to do. It's going to be all about you. It's quite fun, interesting. It helps you navigate uh, your study patterns. What is it that you're interested in? For me, it was very fun. I understood what are my research areas, what is it that I would like to focus on, which helped me navigate my final project of my master's program, which was the dissertation. You have a lot of guidance. So now, when you do require help, there are going to be specific departments. It's not just one professor that you rely on, there are specific departments. So, uh, I think what I struggled with specifically was understanding what department is going to help me with what I need to be helped with. For example, if I'm struggling with a subject, with a lecture, with something that I uh, could not understand, there are specific departments, there are specific professors that I could get help from. So now, this requires a lot of research. This university, King's College London, houses a lot of students internationally, different cultures, different languages, which means there are different hubs, different spaces. So navigating and finding the right kind of help is going to be difficult, but it's available. And it's, if I had to put this entire 1 year in one word, it's about understanding yourself, your needs, your course, the skills, employability chances, and being there for every lecture, for every um, class and every meetings that you have with your professors. Is about preparing yourself for every lecture, which is going to be quite difficult if you choose to work part-time and do this course. But scholarship is something that has helped me quite a lot. It takes a lot of stress off your financials. It helps you, well, with the scholarship, it covers all of your college tuition fee. It covers most of your living expenses. But I think the idea here is that you get to study what you'd like without having to stress about the financials. So while applying for scholarship, there are a couple of things that uh, you need to do. You have to get your documents straight, which the list is provided for. But the documents, more than the documents, is about the profile that you have. It's about how much marks you've had in 10th grade, in 12th grade, in graduation, what kind of work experience you've had. Are you a highly valuable candidate? These are the statistics that you need to navigate yourself. But I did not have to do it all by myself. Nirved sir was there, Hemant sir was there. They helped me create the profile that was required for my course. So I stepped into a very different course from what I had studied. Very related, transferable skills, but it was a drastic turn for me. I studied English literature and then I jumped into MA Strategic Communications. So now this course was provided by the Department of War Studies. Now, King's College is one of the universities which has the best war studies department. They have coined the term, one of the professors who teaches there coined the term strategic communication. They have written researches about it. They've produced the academic background required for the course. So now, when we talk about universities which such as these, they require very specific candidates. So creating the profile and getting the scholarship involves a lot of navigation. It involves a lot of preparation, a lot of discipline, a lot of mental resilience, emotional resilience, and an insane amount of guidance. So if you are someone who's struggling with something, talk to your counselors. They will give you the tools that you require to succeed in those specific areas and those specific needs. So it has been an incredible year. I had people from all over the world in my course, and the discussion would, from Europe and Brazil and US and India. It was incredible. I have learned so much, and also struggled with a lot of things. This entire year is not going to be easy. I was living in a different country. You all are going to be very, very soon. So living in a different country, living with different people, you will identify with things that are not yours, that do not belong to you. You're going to start identifying with things that are yours and belong to your culture. So this whole process is going to be very interesting, sometimes stressful, sometimes emotionally draining, but it's all part of the experience. It's all part of the package. And there isn't a thing I would change about this whole year. It's been incredible. But I think this session is more about me telling you about my experience, but also about you getting the chance to ask me questions. So whatever questions that you may have, just type it out and I will answer them.
So yeah, that's correct, Maitri. Actually, forgot to mention. So yes, little bit of an introduction. We had that on our on the poster. But yes, so Maitrayee is from humble family in Yavatmal, and from there she got in touch with sir, and as she said, she was in a final year, and she was one of the rare students who actually listened to what sir said. That sir said, please do some get some work experience, and then that's why she remained in Nagpur. She got a great job. She learned so much. And then from there, basically she said, okay, fine, sir, what do I need to do? So she completed the IELTS. She applied to the universities, and then, now she is there. She is sharing her experience. And yeah, I mean, it was a journey where like she said that it is the education system is not the same. It is different. The way you approach things here, that will be different, but it is a worthwhile experience, and you know therefore it is great. And I'm sure everybody can tell Maitreyi is doing so well. If you just see her background, I think she's living in some palace or something. I've never seen such a big mirror in my life, but and just one more thing. See, last time the students, those who were here, you just remember Rajat told us, that in the scholarship process, there are many things that keep changing, and you need to be up to date. Plus, you on your own and you're stressed out about your admissions and all these things. So he said you definitely need a helping hand. Why I'm bringing this up is because, see, as Maitreyi mentioned, when she had gone in 2023, at that time, she said, in terms of your profile, you need to have 10th standard, 12th standard, etc. So just for the students and for Maitrayee also. So right now Maitrayee, they don't care about 10th and 12th. It is all about graduation. So they made all these changes recently, and it's all about the offer letter, the admission. So yeah, I mean, when Maitrayee went 1 year ago, it was different. Now it is different, and then God knows, every year something or the other can happen. So yeah, I mean, that is what it was about. So, just before we get into the Q&A, students, let me just, somebody was asking me for the contacts. So let me just share that with you. So same way how Maitrayee had gotten in touch with us, I'll share my contacts. So the other students, whoever is interested, you can get in touch. So you see over here, see, first thing is make sure you scan the QR code so that you can be part of a WhatsApp group, where we keep posting updates about our education program, this, that, anything. And then, of course, you can get in touch with Hemant sir, who is in the head office in Nagpur. His number 9892329101. I'm in the Mumbai office. You can contact me 9619827435. Email ID information at coursescounselorscareers.com, and YouTube channel, Instagram channel details. I'll just post this in the chat for you. I think students were messaging me for this. So the YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, all the details I have just posted in the chat. So you can go through that. And just remember, students, so many of them who are requesting to us, we are going to start uploading these webinars, the recorded sessions on our YouTube channel. Definitely, Rajat's webinar is going to be there. I think that was one of the most important which we did. And going ahead, we will be adding more and more. So make sure you have a look at the YouTube channel as well, students. Okay, I've put the links in the chat. Anything else you need, you can just let me know. Yes, and Maitrayee is here, so I won't, make her wait for too long. So students, just drop in your questions, doubts, whatever you want to ask her. You want to become a reporter, you want to, go into the arts field, anything about IELTS exam. She's the expert. Where we can buy such a big mirror? Any questions you have, please go ahead.
If you have questions about navigating through your studies here, I think that's an important part. I'm just going to talk about it. But guys, one of the important things is that please ask questions. The silliest of questions, the most intelligent of questions, whatever, just ask questions. That is very important. So, uh, studying is going to be very different. But I think when you are applying for the course, when you have such good guidance, you are going to get into that specific course. I'm 101% sure of that. But using these 6 to 10 months that you have when you're preparing for all of this, there is this is a very good time period to prepare yourself for the course, which means every week I would have around 1,000 pages to 3,000 pages to read, because that is the kind of research that the course requires. So preparing yourself, it isn't going to happen in a week. You cannot possibly read all of that in a week. But preparing yourself to read all of that information, consume it, and produce something that is usable in your lectures is going to be very helpful. So reading, learning, and starting to read now is going to help you later on. I come from a literature background and I was a reporter, so reading was part of my habits, was part of my daily habits. So it did help me through the process. Of course, it was quite a lot because the use of language is going to be different. It's going to be, on the scale of easy, medium, and difficult on the English language, it's difficult because it is academic English. When I talk about academic English, this is a very good time period to start writing reports because it's going to affect your scoring here. So preparing yourself to write academically and to read more in general important. So I guess we have some questions. So does the age factor really matters? I'm 24. Most of the Ivy Leagues and top universities have lots of professional cohorts. So from the opportunity wise, how much does it matter? Well, the age, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I think the municipal commissioner of Nagpur was admitted to Princeton University the year while I was working in Nagpur. And the age doesn't matter. This is why I said creating the profile that is required for the course and for the university is important. Understanding what sort of individual student that the university is looking for is important. So it's more about understanding the requirements of the course. Age is not a factor at all, at all. Well, for scholarships, there might be some criterias where they just, fund young professionals, but 24, I would say, is young. Where they fund young professionals or there might be some specific scholarships, but it's not a criteria at universities. Education is available for all genders, all ages, everybody. So I have a question. How is job market in UK? Well, it is tricky, is what I would say. It is bad right now, but it's not the worst. It is going to get better. That is how it always is with such big cities. Right now, it's a bit tricky because you have 200 people applying for the same post. So how do you stand out? You see? But if you have the profile, of course you're going to stand out. Of course you're going to get the chance to be interviewed. And there is help available at the university where they do regular, regular charting of your CV or helping you with an interview. So your education counselor here in the university will help you through your CV process. They will arrange interview sessions with you with professionals from that particular field so that you have practice interviews with the person. And it's it's tough, but I would say, you've just graduated. It takes time. It takes time. You have to give yourself the time that you require, and you have to wait for things to change sometimes. You have to wait for the position to be open. So there are a lot of statistics here. Um, so does that answer your question? If it doesn't, just drop another line in the message.
Just one
Uh,
second, Maitrayee.
yeah.
Since you spoke about reading and writing, and of course, you know all about it for your course also, and before that also,
Hmm.
can you just highlight the importance of, students not doing chat GPT for the SOPs? Because
Oh
it
my God,
seems,
yes.
yeah.
Oh yes, oh yes. So here you don't submit your assignments on paper. You submit them through your, laptop. So for King's College specific, we use this application called Turnitin. Um, so when we submit our assignments, and this also applies to SOPs because this is the format, and they put all of your SOPs, everything that you have written through this application to see if it has been written by an AI, if it has been plagiarized. So it's your work, it's your research, it's your job to produce original content, to produce quality content. So, you know, I'm sure you must have heard people tell you that it's very easy to graduate in foreign universities because the universities, they cannot afford to fail you. But that is not the truth. They can fail you. Three of my course mates, they were failed in the course. They did not receive their degree because they had plagiarized. Um, One of them had plagiarized, two of them, their research, their dissertation, it was read as a propaganda. So, which is another thing because that's the course dynamics and not the university education dynamics. But with plagiarism, so what happens in this application is that um, you write your research, you submit it on the website, and it automatically gets submitted to the Turnitin application. And then the professor opens it on the Turnitin application. Whatever quotes that you've taken, if they are not um, cited well, or you've not put all the things that you've, borrowed from other places and other things, they get highlighted. They get highlighted automatically. And on the right side of the whole application, you can see where it has been picked up from. So you can't even deny that you've plagiarized. You can't even deny any of that. So it's very important to learn how to write academically. It'll take time, but preparing yourself for that now will make the process very easy. So don't use ChatGPT AI to write your SOP. Make a head start. Take your time, send it to Sir. He has, oh my God, I think with my SOP, he's reviewed it so many times. Um, he will help you through the process. Just don't use ChatGPT. Um, and SOP is more or less about yourself, what you've studied, what you want to do, what is it that you're gaining from the university, and what is it that the university will gain from you in the future if you're looking at it from a research perspective. So yeah, it's more or less about what you want to do. So I think it should not ChatGPT is not something you should go for either which ways. Um, but if you need more clarity on writing SOPs, please just ask Sir. He will send you multiple examples to read from.
I
Um,
think in terms of SOP, I remember even Maitrayee had worked quite hard on her SOPs. She had taken almost,
yeah.
I think, 2 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks to write it. And like I tell students, see, it is a unique document that only you can write. You can express yourself, whatever experiences you have gone through. You can see the samples, how to write it, but it is a very unique thing. And if you're having difficulties in writing now, then trust me, when you go to your university, you're going to have a lot of writing assignments. And it's good preparation if you start from now. And, so yeah, I mean, and it is plagiarism a very strict offense in the universities, as I was quite shocked to hear that they are failing the students. So obviously you
Yes.
don't want that. And plus, these students, if you go on scholarship and then you fail, you have to pay back the money which you have gotten, okay, with interest. So you definitely don't want to go through all that. So, okay. Do you have any more questions, students? Any more doubts?
Um,
Anything you want to ask?
there is another question. So some people have sent direct messages to me. I'm just going to read those out. Education quality difference between India and other countries. Well, research has definitely progressed a lot in these countries in regard to my field, public policy, or let's say um, politics in general. It has progressed a lot in other countries rather than India. It has picked up pace in India though. The education quality, um, well, if you've studied at an autonomous college in India, uh, you won't find much of a difference because autonomous colleges in India, they get to pick and choose their syllabus. So it comes from different, there's a collection of literature available for you. Um, and in and here, I can't talk about other countries, but in the UK, in this country, um, it's more research based. So it allows you the freedom to explore more topics at length. Um, so it's a freedom factor rather than the structured kind of education that we have in India. But there's not a lot of difference. I don't think so. I mean, I studied at St. Mira's. It was amazing. It was lovely. If I had the same course in India in my college, specifically with my own professors, I would have continued there. Um, but yeah, uh, which scholarship you got? National Overseas Scholarship. I am not sure what you are talking about, but I got the Maharashtra government scholarship um, for open category. Uh, yeah. Next is at least how much work experience is required before so that landing a job gets easier. Uh, well, how much experience? I can't exactly quantify the amount of experience that is required for getting a job abroad because so there are different dynamics at play here. Having work experience in India doesn't necessarily mean that you are qualified. You're well enough qualified for a job here abroad, here in this country. A lot of employers here, they look for people who have some work experience here in London, but that isn't possible for people like us, international students. So it is going to be a little difficult, but it's not, uh, incredibly difficult. Um, there are ways to navigate through this process. With that being said, companies, they have a rule for diversity. They need to diversify their office, which means they have these specific quotas where 50% of the work population, this is just an example. Please don't quote me on this. These are just examples. So 50% or 40% or 20% of the office employees, they have to be from different backgrounds, they have to be from different cultures. So there are categories and there are places. Um, so I can't quantify the amount of experience that is required because it is going to be different. I've had friends who have had 8, 9 years of work experience in India and they haven't been able to find a job. But I've also had friends who had 6 months of working in India and they immediately found a job here and a very good job, big four companies. So It's different. It's more about the availability of the job, the criteria of the job, and your profile. So it's more like finding the right pieces in a puzzle, if that makes sense. How much did it cost me for master's scholarship and how much scholarship you got? Well, you get all the money that you ideally paid for. Uh, so before I got the scholarship, I did have my own personal expense. For example, you have to pay for the visa, you have to pay for the flight ticket, you have to prepare your suitcases and prepare yourself for this long journey. So there is some initial cost that you have to bear, but all of it is covered in the scholarship. And I'm not sure how much the scholarship is going to cover this time, since Sir has mentioned that it has changed and it keeps changing. Um, but from what I've received, it has covered all of the student loan that I took. So I took a student loan initially, and then the scholarship is more like it pays you back whatever you've spent.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, just like how Rajat had mentioned last time,
yeah,
all the students, they have to take a loan before they go for their expenses because
yeah,
you have to do your accommodation, visa, flight ticket. You
yeah,
have to pay the deposit, 2,000 pound deposit my three had paid.
yeah,
And then once you're there, then, you get it refunded. But yes, you have to be prepared for the financial burden, initial financial burden. That is,
yes.
yeah.
But it's going to be an easy breeze. It just feels like a lot before you start the process, but once you're in the process, it's going to be fine. And another thing is, oh yes, this is very important. If you are somebody who's looking for a scholarship, planning to apply for 200, the top 200 universities, uh, now I'm talking about UK specifically, look for accommodations, University of London accommodations, because they are slightly cheaper than the specific university accommodation. So King's accommodation was very expensive for me. Even if I had the scholarship, it was still too much. So I opted for University of London accommodation, where it houses students from all universities in London. And it is slightly cheaper. The location is excellent. I was living right behind the British Museum. So it was amazing, just 10 steps away, I had British Museum. Just it was next door. So incredible locations, slightly cheaper, more affordable options. So uh, how much it's going to cost is also about you navigating where you want to stay, how you want to stay. You can definitely manage your expenses, and you can always get a part-time job to help you with the, extra bit of money if you want to travel, enjoy your life, have a life here. Uh, but yeah, is it difficult to get the scholarship also? Which are the most important things to focus on to get scholarship? For sure. I think with this year, sir might be able to help you in a better way with this specific question
Yeah, yeah,
because
just I think that's a good point which Maitrayee mentioned. Accommodation is very expensive, students, and I have students who are searching for accommodation in this LSE and in this I think in Barbican or God knows where, around 1,000, 1,500 pound accommodations were also sold out. It is ridiculous. And I think students are looking more and more into hostels and those kind of places where you have this kind of shared arrangement. Or I don't remember that one website. I think a lot of students are there in Imperial. They have gotten this. There is some, I think, some cheap option. I don't remember the exact name
Mhm.
of it. But yeah, I mean, University of London, good point. So you don't need to specifically go for King's accommodation if you can save. And also, as she has mentioned, students keep asking about working part-time. So students, yes, definitely you can work part-time and you can, save money and all this. So earn money for your own expenses and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Um, and well, scholarship, it's all about the criteria and meeting the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
criteria.
Scholarship questions, students,
Yeah.
you get in touch directly with me.
Yeah.
All right. Because Maitrayee is, she went 2 years ago and there
Yeah.
have been changes. And
Yeah.
then just generally, like she has mentioned, main thing is that you need to get your profile ready. More than the documentation and everything. Do you have your unconditional offer? Have you applied in time? Have you completed your IELTS in time? I think somebody had asked something about IELTS, is it? I don't know.
Yes, how to score above 7 band in IELTS. Oh, well, how much did I get? I don't remember
No,
anymore.
no, good. Let me just look into it. I'm searching for your IELTS.
Oh my God, you have it on record.
And I have all the
Yeah.
documents. So
Uh, so I come from the background. IELTS is English and it's English language exam. Um, to be honest, I did not really dedicate a lot of time personally because I was studying it for 3 years for my undergrad. And what is required for the specifics of that test were already covered by Nirved sir. And he does it so well that I did not really have to prepare for the extra bit. That, the effort that the individual effort that you have to put in for the exam. So, uh, I don't know, I read, read a lot, listen, correct, listen to the correct pronunciation of things. If you're not sure about anything, ask. Um, you can you can always Google, check the pronunciation of words that you're not sure about. It is about getting the sentences grammatically correct, speaking the language right, um, and it'll basically be prepared to write on any random topic. But that's pretty much it.
yeah, I
It
found this here. You can see this is Maitreye's IELTS 14 November 22. And yeah, she scored very well. So listening, reading, writing, speaking. Overall 8 band, which is quite good. And I think she needed a higher band score because her course is involving a lot of
yeah,
writing
yeah.
and the arts related courses, literature related courses, communications course, which she has done. You need a really good band score for this. So Maitreyi was part of the batch, and of course, she was already at a above average level. She worked hard, and then this is her score.
One thing that I would like to add to this is
Yeah,
that so the listening test is going to be, it was easy for me specifically. When it comes to reading, you have a lot to read and you have a very small amount of time to fit all of those readings into. So again, why reading is important. Um, and when it comes to speaking, it's going to be easy. It's just you're just going to have a conversation with someone. It's a conversation, that's it. But when it comes to writing, we are all so used to writing on MS Word that it detects your grammatical errors and if you make a spelling mistake, it is going to detect it right away. um, Also, with the writing test, you're going to have a small amount of time and you will have to deduce some information from a chart or a graph. Um, and I think I messed up somewhere there. I think I did mess up a little there. That's why think it was 6.5. But writing, yeah. Yeah. And I
6.5 is good. It's
immediately
above
told you,
average.
sir, after this. So I
Sorry.
think I messed up a little somewhere, somewhere there.
Maybe little bit, I don't know, but it's good. 6.5 is above average in writing, and maybe a little bit less you got in reading. I don't know. Rest is fine.
Yeah. Because I think it was a lot to read and
Yeah.
I don't remember it clearly anymore. But that's one thing. We are so used to typing things on MS Word that it immediately detects our mistakes and then we can correct it. But here, when you're doing the computer-based test, it's not going to detect your mistakes.
Yeah.
So you have to have time to read and recheck things, which I did not have. I was just, yeah.
There's no spell check, students. Just remember, there's no bold, italic, highlight, strikeout.
Yeah.
It is basic software, so you get used to typing it at your, on WordPad or something. I think that might be better for you.
Yes, that is definitely
Yeah, yeah.
a choice. Um,
Yes. You have
mm,
any more questions, Maitri?
I don't have any more questions, but I see a lot of messages on as a
Yes.
fresher, can I get unconditional offer from top USC Australian university for my master's in agriculture? Uh, I do think that you can. It depends on all of the things that you've done in your undergrad. Have you
Mhm.
been part of any extracurriculars apart from the syllabus? How is it that you've made, how is it that you are a unique individual for this specific course, for this specific university? What is it that you bring to your cohort? Um, so these are the key questions that you can try answering and seeing if you have the profile for it right now, or else you can get some work experience and apply next year. That's always an option.
I mean, Maitrayee is the living example. So students, she waited for a year, she got the experience, and then she proceeded. I think if she was just a fresher, her experience would have been quite different in KCL. So, and
Mhm.
when you work a little bit, you get a better idea what you want to do, and more knowledge. So it is always helping. And if you go
Yes,
abroad, work ex is like it's really important nowadays. So
it is.
yeah.
I have one last question. Well,
Uh-huh.
there's also this message. I think it's very important to address this. I
Uh-huh.
think we should not leave India, try to get admitted in these colleges. IIT JAM, is that what you call it? I mean, I don't know. Exam for masters in there and competition also low as compared to JEE. It's a personal choice. I mean, if that's what I said, it's about your profile. What is it that you want in your life? How is it that you're envisioning your next 10 years? So it's about figuring out that bit. Um, I have one last question. What are you currently doing? Which and for what is exact amount you get paid for part-time job and what types of jobs are available? Talking about your course and types of jobs option. Okay. Um, well, the average package, my course was what a profile actually is and how does a strong profile looks like for you, also for a BTech CSE grad. So I don't know a lot about BTech, and I also don't know what kind of course that you wish to apply for. So I'm not really sure if I can help you with that question, but maybe sir can direct you towards it.
So Maitri, if the
Towards the right
students
direction.
want to get in touch, should they contact you on LinkedIn or something?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
available on LinkedIn. Um,
I'll share
but
your LinkedIn profile over here
yeah.
somewhere. If you
Uh,
have a link with you, just drop it in
yes.
the chat.
Well, the part-time jobs, they can pay you from, so right now 11.50 per hour is the minimum wage that you get. As a student, you can work 20 hours. After you're done with your course, you can work full time. I am working full time right now, and I'm also applying for jobs. But I'm also very confused at this stage as to what field that I want to get into. So I'm navigating my own uh, journey there. But finding a part-time job will help you a bit with your expenses here in London because eh, living in central London is going to be a bit expensive. But learning how to manage your expense is going to help you a lot. Um, Average package, it really depends from industry to industry. If you work in corporate, it's going to be different. If you work with the government, it's going to be different. But it's definitely a good amount of salary, a very good chunk. Uh, face any kind of racism there? Uh, Sometimes, yes, happens. Uh, but you also build a certain level of mental resilience to it. So it doesn't bother you anymore. Certain things that you can't change, but happens. Yeah.
All right, all right. So, like I said, see, this is Sunday. This is one holiday which Maitri has. So, we will not hold her up for too long. Okay, let me just wrap up the session. So, one time, students, let me just again share the details with you. So, same way how Maitri came in touch with sir and then she followed the guidance. Make sure scan the QR code for the WhatsApp group. Contact sir on his number 9892329101. give me a call on 9619827435. You can send an email information@coursescounselorscareers.com. You can come to our office for a meeting. And then, of course, social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I shared the links already. I'll share it one more time with you in the chat.